Get ready for a celebration like no other. It's Phuket's Vegetarian Festival, where possessed participants known as the Masang will push the limits of human endurance as they perform extreme rituals to purify and protect their community. They'll walk on fire, climb razor-sharp blade ladders, and pierce themselves in unbelievable and shocking ways. From massive processions and beautiful ceremonies to jaw-dropping rituals and fun food, this festival will blow your mind. So let's jump into the action and experience one of the wildest and most unforgettable festivals in the world. Good morning, country collectors. Sawadee Kap, and welcome back. Today we are on the beautiful island of Phuket, where we are celebrating the Vegetarian Festival. It's like nothing you have ever seen. Right now we're in the middle of a procession, which is the highlight of this entire celebration. But there's been a lot that's been going on this week, so let's jump back and check it out. Right now we are in the heart of Phuket's Old Town, which is the epicenter of the celebrations. It's a charming and historic district that feels like stepping back in time, offering a unique blend of Chinese Baroque architecture, colorful colonial buildings, and a lively cultural scene. During the Vegetarian Festival, this district becomes the heart of the spiritual and cultural activities, with the vibrant parades and ceremonies taking place against the backdrop of this historic setting for over 100 years. And you know what they say, if it ain't Baroque, don't fix it. The story dates back to the 19th century, when Phuket's Chinese community was struck with a mysterious illness. In a desperate plea for health, they adopted a strict vegetarian diet and performed rituals to honor the 9 emperor gods. The illness disappeared, and ever since, the community has continued this tradition. In today's modern celebrations, participants dress in white clothing as a symbol of purity and spiritual cleansing, which you can purchase all over the neighborhood if you need it. They also adhere to a strict vegetarian or vegan diet, abstaining from consuming meat, fish, eggs, dairy products, and even certain vegetables like garlic and onions, as well as from sex and alcohol, aiming to purify their bodies. But don't worry about going hungry. Restaurants adopt special menus, and food stalls pop up throughout Phuket, selling a wide variety of delicious plant-based dishes, often marked with yellow flags, offering everything from mock meats to stir-fried vegetables, noodles, and classic Thai vegan treats like spring rolls and sticky rice. They get really creative. Let us begin, shall we? The chestnuts were roasting, the rice was caked, and the potatoes were spiraled, fried, tatered, and smiled. The corn was steamed, popped, chipped, fried and frittered, and even dogged. Speaking of dogs, it would have been rough if I had missed out on a delicious baked one filled with tasty chocolate. There were skewers, flavored tofu, mushroom madness, steamed buns, noodle nirvana, candied fruits, and specialty items like vegan croffles and faux sushi. And if you like juice, they have what you're longing for. The avocado smoothies were my favorite, and they even had some things I hadn't seen before, like bean smoothies. I was skeptical at first, but once I tried one, I was wondering where they had been all my life. Even the 7-Eleven adopts a vegan menu, marked with yellow flags. And during the celebrations, most of the temple even offer free vegetarian meals, which they bring in by the truckload and then prepare in giant vats for anyone to come and have a meal if you're hungry. It's also a great place to connect with the locals and get to know them a little bit. Oh, yeah. Now that we have the basics down, let's get to the real celebrations. There are 39 main Chinese temples on the island, with 13 in Old Town, where most of the activities will be happening. A great way to check out the temples and take part in the festival is doing the Good Journey and Praying for Happiness tour at 9 highlighted temples here in Old Town, each offering a different type of prosperity. By lighting candles, saying prayers, burning incense, and leaving offerings of fruit and vegetables, you can accumulate blessings and good merit. Throughout the week, every shrine holds their own ceremonies, and there are a lot, so I'm just showing you the larger ones. You can head to the Tourism Authority of Thailand office in town and pick up a brochure that lists all of these events. They even have a nice little aircon room to sit in while you figure stuff out. On the first night of the festival, I head over to the Jui Tui Shrine for the pole raising ceremony that marks the start of the celebrations. The pole, known as the Gotang, is prepared in the days leading up to the ceremony by the community. They apply thin sheets of gold leaf to every inch. It's believed that this pole will be the connection between the heavens and the earth, allowing the 9 Chinese emperor gods to descend. It's a beautiful ceremony and something that you can participate in if you arrive early. This is also where I had my first experience with some of the most important and captivating aspects of this festival, the Masang. These individuals, dressed in ceremonial robes and adorned with talismans, play a central role in this festival's rituals. Masang, or entranced horses, are spiritual mediums that embody the gods during the festival. It's believed that the gods possess their bodies, allowing them to endure extraordinary physical trials, many of which are beyond what we would normally consider humanly possible. As the ceremony begins, the crowd is wrapped in anticipation as the Masang wander around in their trances. As the pole slowly rises, the drumming intensifies. Once it stands tall, it signals the official start of the festival. The 9 emperor gods have arrived. Then, a second pole was brought forward and adorned with 9 glowing lanterns to light the way for the spirit of the 9 emperor gods, ensuring their presence is felt throughout the nighttime processions. Immediately after the lanterns were raised, the Masang began to push the crowd back. I had no idea what was going on, and what happened next was honestly shocking. The Masang, now fully in their trance-like states, began to perform self-inflicted acts of cutting and beating. It is here, in this moment, where the spiritual meets the physical in a display of devotion and sacrifice. What might seem extreme to outsiders is in fact an ancient ritual of purification. With each cut, they symbolically absorb the suffering of the community, offering their pain to ensure blessings, protection, and prosperity for all. This ritual is not just a test of physical endurance, it's one of spiritual resilience, a reminder that the road to the divine is often paved with sacrifice. As the intensity of the opening ceremony fades, the spirits that possess the Masang begin to leave their bodies. As the connection between the human and the divine loosens, the Masang begin to regain control of their bodies and minds. They may sway, stagger, or even lose consciousness momentarily as they are cared for by the lay people around them. When they return to their senses, they show no signs of suffering. It is a peaceful transition, as if waking from a dream. Wow. I don't even know what else to say, but wow. That was so intense, so shocking, and at the same time, so beautiful. And I know that might be hard to understand because people were literally cutting themselves and hurting themselves, but their belief is that when they're possessed by the god, these people called the Masang, they don't feel anything. They're taken by the Buddha. Ma in Masang means horse, and Sang means God. So they're literally horses being ridden by the gods. So they're not in control. And by enduring these extreme acts, they're taking away the bad luck. They're taking away the darkness from the community, and they're giving them a fresh start. And whether you believe it or not is irrelevant because they believe it. And I think that when we limit ourselves by saying, that's not what I believe, so it's not real, trust me, being here, seeing these people, feeling that energy in the air, it's something that is so hard to put into words. There was this intensity, this electricity, and the people were definitely in trances. They weren't faking it, and I can tell you that because when they were cutting themselves, that wasn't fake. That was all real. And when you could see when the spirit came out of them, there was this relief. I actually got to talk to someone the other day who is a Masang, who's been doing it for 30 years since he was 13 years old. And he told me a little bit what it was like. So why don't we go check that out with them? What it like to be Masang? Like, what does it feel like?
Form.
Like when you get possessed?
Buddha come here.
Yeah.
Not feel, you know?
You not feel?
Not feel. Buddha come. Buddha. From Buddha, not me, you know? Up to him.
Up to
him go. How long? I don't know, you know?
So he come into you and you feel the possess and you can put the needle in your cheek. You say you feel no pain?
No pain.
No pain.
No pain. No feel.
Feel Buddha come into you,
Yeah,
possess you.
No feel everything.
And you can see me, but you don't recognize me.
Yeah. I see you, but I cannot talk, you know?
I needed to recharge a little bit, so I got another one of my favorites, the avocado smoothie. And now we're gonna head over to another temple and see a procession that's gonna go down to the ocean where they carry the gods for the next step. So let's go check it out together. When I arrived at the shrine, prayers were being quietly offered as the priest chanted prayers in front of the idols. As they finished and the drumming intensified, the Masang began entering their entranced states. I was actually able to see them beginning their processions. Some entered with acrobatics, and others were speaking in tongues and mumbling indecipherable words. It was very intense, and I could actually feel the emotion and energy all around me. While entranced, they have aprons placed on them. They are powerful symbols of protection and divine connection. Emblazoned with symbols, ancient characters, and sacred writings, these aprons will serve as the spiritual armor. After being possessed, they leave the temple and gather in front where there was another beautiful pole-raising ceremony. Then they gathered the idols of the gods on intricately decorated thrones and began a ritual procession. We traveled through the streets to a nearby beach, Sapahin, where they believe the gods will arrive at the celebrations entering from the sacred ocean. When the procession reached the shore, the air thickened with anticipation. Here, under the dark sky, the priests began their sacred invocation. Prayers raised into the night and offerings of fruit, incense, and flowers were made to the soft light of candles. The idols, now containing the spirits of the gods, are carried back to the shrine. The community, connected to the divine, will spend the coming days under the watchful eyes of the 9 emperor gods. The next ceremony that you can't miss is the sword blade ladder climbing. The Masang quietly gather in front of the towering ladder. As the sound of drums intensifies and prayers are softly spoken, they begin their climb, barefoot, on a ladder of 36 sharp blades on each side. I had a chance to touch the blades myself, and they were razor sharp. With each step, the Masang move with a calm, focused energy, trusting in their faith to protect them from injury. Every blade symbolizes sacrifice. The Masang are offering their own pain in exchange for blessings on the community. Their belief is that these blades are not something to fear, but a path of spiritual purification. Once they reach the top, they begin to shower the crowd with gifts and blessings, scattering them down from above. The act represents a transfer of divine protection and good fortune for everyone below. Next was the firewalking ceremony, one of the most intense and exciting events to watch. The heat was overwhelming, even 30 feet away. The community prepared the coals by flattening them with a long piece of wood, and it was so hot they needed to douse themselves with ice water just to get close. They began the ceremony by waving flags around the coals to cleanse the area. Then the Masang began sprinting over the coals, one by one. Each step they take is a powerful reminder of the strength of belief. The fire is real, the heat is intense, but through their connection to the gods, the Masang are protected. Their ability to walk unscathed across the scorching embers is a symbol of spiritual endurance, showing that with faith, even the most daunting challenges can be overcome. And something different about the ceremony is that foreigners can even participate, testing their own faith against the heat. It was really something to witness and should not be missed during these amazing celebrations. And now for the Pierce de Resistance, the piercings and processions. This is by far the most iconic and exciting part of this entire celebration. It's 5 a.m. right now. This is when these things begin, so you have to get up early if you want to experience them for yourself. Every temple does their own procession, and before they begin, they will have the piercing ceremony with the Masang in the temple itself. So I am so excited to share this with you. Let's go check it out. needle piercings are just the beginning. For bigger objects, they use a large stainless steel spear to widen the holes in the face before inserting things like swords, spears, guns, and even household items like hammers, rulers, shovels, garden shears, crowbars, and I even saw a marijuana plant. They get really creative. This is so intense. It's honestly overwhelming. I got to talk to one of the piercers earlier, and he was telling me that sometimes they actually hit an artery and will start bleeding uncontrollably. And even though they're not feeling this, it doesn't mean that their bodies can't go through trauma. So that's something to keep in mind, is that this is a sacrifice that they're making, and I know it's hard to understand for a lot of people. I know I mentioned that before, but it's this immense step of faith that these people are taking. Like, they don't want attention. This isn't something that they're doing because they want people to look at them and think that they're cool. This is something that they're doing because it's their belief, and their belief is so strong that they're willing to sacrifice their bodies in ways that we could never imagine. So I think that's probably enough for the piercings. Let's go and join the procession and see what this is all about. The processions are the most spectacular event to behold during the festival, and they are so big that large parts of the town are shut down completely during the event. As they wind through the town, the community and spectators line the roads filled with excitement and reverence. The streets are bursting with vibrant colors, from the bright reds, golds, and whites of the Masang robes to the colorful flags and banners. Everywhere you look, there's movement, life, and energy. The Masang are very impressive right now. This is a true display of their commitment to the community, fully pierced and walking barefoot on the hot pavement. They stop periodically and demonstrate their faith even further by committing acts of self-flagellation that we witnessed earlier. The guy with the giant saw was especially intense. As they move through the streets, they offer blessings to the crowd. Altars are set up along the road, filled with offerings of flowers, fruit, sweets, and tea, as well as burning candles and incense. As the Masang pass, they will stop and allow the people to pay their respects to the gods that possess them. As they walk along, people will kneel and bow before them in hopes of receiving a personal blessing, and many Masang will offer small gifts to the community like candy, bracelets, and prayers written on paper. Some even gently touch a paintbrush dipped in red paint to your skin or forehead that is believed to transfer divine energy to you for protection and bring good fortune. It's truly beautiful to see the gratefulness in the eyes of the people. Another interesting part of the procession is watching these sacred altars being carried through the streets. These altars represent the 9 emperor gods, and as they're lifted high and paraded through the crowds, it's believed that the gods themselves are present, blessing the community as they pass. I even got to carry one for a bit. It was an honor and an experience I'm grateful for. And then there are the firecrackers. You cannot miss them. The crackling and booming are constant. Every burst is believed to ward off evil spirits, clearing the path for the gods. The spectators throw them into the procession by the handful, and the Masang don't even flinch as they explode around them. Some will even stand and allow the people to set them off at their feet, showing that they truly feel no pain. It's chaotic, it's loud, and it's amazing. Each explosion feels like a reminder that this isn't just a festival. It's a battle between good and evil, with the firecrackers helping to tip the scales toward the divine. So we've paraded through the city and we are back at the Bangyao Temple where we started today. These parades and processions are just, they're so beautiful and intense. Oh, they're getting ready to blow some stuff up. Hold on. Yeah. Wow, what an amazing procession. I've been to a few now, and this one was definitely the best. I said I kind of combined them together so you could get a feeling for what they were like all together. They have these every single day and night from all of the temples at different times, so you can really go whenever you have time to. You don't have to come for the whole celebration. You can just come for 1 or 2 days if that's all the time that you have. It was also so cool to be able to walk with them in the parade. You know, to be able to be part of it and to feel like you were included in it. The Masang were even giving me offerings along the way, and the people were so kind. I wanted to say thank you so much to the people of Phuket for being so good to me. sharing your laughter, your hearts, your information. It's just, they made this entire experience what it was, and sharing it with you is really what makes it special for me. So thank you so much for being here. This whole thing has just been really mind-opening. It's given me a new perspective of a place that I've loved for over 20 years, and to see a place from all of its angles is really truly the way to appreciate it. So I am so grateful to this entire experience. I wanted to give you a few tips as well. Make sure that you are wearing sunscreen and a hat. It is hot out here. Also drink plenty of water. Closed-toed shoes are a great idea. Earplugs, because I'm kind of deaf in my left ear right now from all of those firecrackers that were going off. You also want to book your accommodations early, especially if you want to stay in the Old Town, which I highly recommend. I found a place on Airbnb for $30 a night. It has everything that I need, and it's only a 10-minute walk from the Jui Tui Shrine, which is the main temple in town where we did that opening ceremony. There's going to be a grand procession on the last day where all of the temples are going to go out at the same time and parade through the town and back down to that beach we went to on the first night in Sapahin to let the gods go back out to the ocean and into the heavens, and then taking down the poles like we did, except the opposite of what we did. Wow. And I think the other thing is to keep an open mind. This might not be what you believe. I mentioned it before, but just because you don't believe it doesn't mean it's not real for them. And this might not be what I believe in, but I do believe in it, if that makes sense. Seeing these people, seeing the Masang, seeing how the community cares for them and is grateful to them, it's actually really special. And being here is the only way to really experience that. So make sure you come here at least once in your life. It is totally worth it. Well, I think we are gonna call it. It's been so great doing this entire thing. I am wiped out right now. The energy from these things can really drain you, but in the best kind of way. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to ling 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 the bell. I'll see you next time. Kapung kap.